Hello, I am Sipra calling from Aditya Birla Capital.
Voice is the best sensory organ for humans to receive and deliver.
To reach out to customers at scale is not possible with a human contact center.
The way the customer is actually experiencing AI is mind-boggling.
We have been struggling with voice bots, which were traditionally ML-based voice bots.
We are a regulated company and you have guardrails. The conversations can take any direction. How do you make sure that you are engaging with the customer within the guardrails?
Space is important because the reality changes very quickly.
Many people have good demos which work very well, but when they start scaling up to say 1 billion, 2 million customers, that is where the tech starts failing because the underlying architecture is not scalable.
Till this time, there was no problem which was as complex as what the AMC actually had come up with.
India is very, very diverse, right? So different people talk in very, very different manners. The scale and the sheer ambition of what we've tried to attempt is probably very, very unprecedented today.
So basically, you're the one who makes the AI agents human.
You could say that. Actually, that's a nice way of phrasing it. 95% of the AI pilots fail because you are letting somebody who doesn't understand your system try to fit it into our system. There is a lot of stuff that happens pre-con and post-call in these processes, and actually automating all of that, and that works like clockwork for different use cases, is exceptionally hard. Create leads in their system, read data from their CRM. Now that CRM itself is not open, how do you find a way where without data breach or without compromising on their security, how do you solve for it?
There's no really one size fits all approach that will work in this industry. So what I keep telling Nirmit and Krishna is to really think about, can we create a Palantir of voice AI in India?
It is very, very important to see the invisible engineering that kind of goes at the back, which allows it to hold at enterprise grade scale. Do we call it engineering, or we should name it something? You should call it like an AI mega structures, right?
Aditya Birla Capital, one of India's largest financial services conglomerates, serving millions of customers across investing, insurance, and lending. This is the story of how they became pioneers in enterprise voice AI.
So I'm Sameer Jadhav. I'm Executive Vice President for Digital Products, Innovation and Partnerships. One of the primary charter I drive at Aditya Birla Capital is generative AI and agentic AI. So we look at deploying these tools across all the lines of businesses, covering mutual fund, life insurance, lending, stocks and securities, so on and so forth.
I head the digital analytics and the customer value management in the AMC, and I also head digital analytics for Aditya Birla Capital.
So one of the goals of Aditya Birla Capital is making finance simple for our customers. And we look at customer needs and believe there are 3 categories in which financial products fall into. One is obviously investing category. Second is protection or insurance. And third is lending or the money needs for customers.
We do not want to, focus on any other things apart from the customer, right? This is what, triggered the idea to create a voice-first approach, right? This is a voice-first approach. We don't do an SMS, we don't do a WhatsApp, we call the customer first, right? We try to get engagement firsthand with him, right?
If you have to, let's say, call millions of customers that we have or engage with them, it is prohibitively expensive to actually put so many stations in place in the call center. But when we interact with the customer, I think a lot of that data is lost because as a human who interacts with the customer, everything is not possible to remember. And that is basically where the problem actually has to be solved. And AI actually comes and solves this problem very well.
For years, Aditya Birla Capital had tried to solve the voice problem. And for years, they had struggled.
So we have been, I would say, struggling with voice bots, and we started our journey about 4 to 5 years back with ML-based bots, which are good for customer service. But one of the challenges we found with ML-based bot is it's not really good for sales or pre-sales discussions with customer. And as you know, with the GenAI-based voice bots and the likes that Blue Machines is building with agentic AI, the bots are becoming very human-like. And that really solves a couple of issues for us.
Turing problem. You really don't know whether it's a human or a machine behind with whom you are speaking with. There are sometimes issues in terms of latency. Latency in the sense I ask something as a customer, and then the bot basically is waiting for a response from the system, and there are a few seconds, kind of a difference there. And that becomes, over a period of time, you start feeling that, there is something wrong.
You remember some time back Amazon went down, a lot of times ChatGPT is down. So those kind of instances happen, right? But when we are building for enterprises, we want that it's foolproof. Enterprise AI usually needs this. These are the standard benchmarks set. This is an industry gold standard.
In India, we typically speak in English or, mix of different languages. And if you see the Western voice AI models, whether it is Google or Microsoft, they will have an English model, they will have a Hindi model. So adding that or building that layer, which can combine 2-3 different languages, which obviously is a custom layer, as well as talking in spoken English or spoken Hindi, and not the theoretical or ideal Hindi.
Not the translated.
Not the translated version of very Shuddh Hindi.
Correct.
What I would say. So that transition from Shuddh Hindi to a spoken Hindi on the streets is really what separates a good voice bot implementation. The other big challenge we also faced was the background noise, because many customers in India will not be in zones where there's complete silence. They'll be in a marketplace or in a real life scenario where there's a lot of background noise.
And then there was the complexity of enterprise systems, regulations, compliance, multiple businesses, use cases, integrations. This wasn't a demo. It was the real world.
Health insurance, my aim would be to, ensure that his health is right. He is doing the health returns program, very well with us. We also want to engage customers in health. We want to ensure that they have understood what are the benefits of the product. We do a welcome calling to them. That is completely done by bots. Say housing finance, we want our relationship managers to be more productive in terms of not doing administrative tasks and focusing on their core job, which they are best at, which is managing relationships. If I talk about AMC, there we want our customers to grow their wealth. See, all our products are wealth creation focused.
So what becomes essential is, if there is a voice bot, which is creating responses, there needs to be a checker voice bot, which I think Blue Machines has built, which is a SLM, which has all the regulatory guidelines.
The conversations can take any direction. And it is very difficult to train a bot to answer everything, because we are a regulated company and you have guardrails, and the customer can actually speak anything. So how do you make sure that you are speaking and engaging with the customer within the guardrails, and not breaking any of the regulations which are prevalent?
Aditya Birla Capital had evaluated dozens of voice AI companies. Most followed the same playbook. Good demos that failed at scale. They needed something different.
Many people have good demos which work very well, but when they start scaling up to say 1 million, 2 million customers, that is where the tech starts failing, because the underlying architecture is not scalable. And the different components in the architecture start failing, and they fail to have the consistency in the voice calls that they're having.
Blue Machines was able to create a very quick demo audio for us to listen to, and we actually played this with the seniors in ABC in one of our meetings. I'm really talking about the CEOs and CXOs is where we played this, and the demo sounded very human-like, very real and authentic. Right, and that actually gave the proof of the concept, to the people. The proof of the concept was quite powerful, and people said, yes, this is something that sounds very, very exciting and very promising.
And we spoke, and then he asked me what is the use case about and all. I gave him some brief idea, and he said, let's meet at 3 p.m. today. I said, okay, let's meet on a Teams meeting. He joined the call, and Tanmay was actually ready with a voice bot over there, right? With the objective and with the use case which I was telling him 2 hours back at 1 p.m. on the call. So that's differentiator is very much needed in this business.
So we actually started engagement with Blue Machine about 4 to 5 months back. And where we were evaluating many other players when we met Nirmit. And I think one thing that struck out to us was the complete commitment to building a world-class solution. Ability to scale and build scalable platforms was very different. And the whole strategic nature of the way they looked at this partnership to go beyond the call of duty to build custom solutions for us is what really stood out.
The orchestration between various things. And so I kind of went through that, and I remember it was very impressive. I really felt that this is not something that I've seen in the other organizations. Like the approach, and by that time I think one pilot also had happened, and there was some positive feedbacks from that pilot as well. So one thing that I have seen is that it is always good to create something quickly and look at it in the demo, etc., but put that into the real world. Because the number of situations that you would face in the real world, it is very difficult to think about all of them and train the bot, as when you are actually developing it.
Given this Blue Machines, we are a voice orchestration system. We do orchestration at multiple levels. The most bottommost level is like your STT, TTS, and your council of LLMs working together. And then you go to your next level, where you have layers for security, you have layers for role-based control systems. You have also layers for reliability. So we have built a system where you can basically, in real time, it has an ability to switch, or I would call it hot swap systems. So that if the call is going on, the call will not drop. You will feel the call is seamless. So that's like your layer 2 is around security and reliability. And then you have a third layer of orchestration, which is around enterprise workflows. So each workflow is very different for each enterprise. So an ability to put in the workflow so that it follows through, and this workflow could be in call and I would say post call or pre-call talking to some systems. One more layer is a layer of how the entire multilingual context, your context around turn detection and everything comes, right? So that's your speech layer where you will have, say, Indians, right? We Indians have a very interesting way to speak. The Indian nod which we say, it also comes in the way we talk, like okay, okay. This okay doesn't mean okay. Okay means, boss, I'm listening to you. Languages are very, very mixed, right? So when we talk, we'll mix Hindi, English together. Particularly the way even I'm talking, kabhi Hindi English mix ho jata hai. And it is very natural. So you cannot like speak in a very Shuddha Hindi or a Shuddha English. That's not how we speak. So an ability to understand that, also speak in a language which user feels normal. So I think so that is a very, very interesting layer. And of course, India is a very, very noisy environment. Most of the times you're sitting in a train and doing a call, like trying to figure out the right mutual fund, or you are in the bus trying to book an appointment at a hospital. So those pieces are pretty, pretty important.
So Blue Machines today can be used in almost all major industries. The world is now moving towards a more voice-first world, right?
So usually there is a concept of FDEs, which is forward deployment engineers. These are deployed on site, usually with the client side. And in cases where innovation is required, in cases where the pace which is required is very quick, complexity is very hard, we usually take an approach where we want to be in the same room.
The way I think about this concept is like you're a central node who's trying to understand that what is it that the customer wants, which is the business team. What is it that my product has features today? What is it that my engineering team's constraints are? So this role, the way I think about it is that it's equal parts customer success, equal parts project management. It's as much about product management, and it is about prompting, testing, QA, everything all mapped into one.
So what I keep telling Nirmit is to really think about, can we create a Palantir of voice AI in India, where you have forward deployment engineers actually working at the client side, working hand in hand with client to understand and solve the problems.
The contract was signed. The vision was clear. Now came the hardest part: actually building it.
There were so many integrations. This project had so massive number of integration. Even I was boggled by the scale of it.
For example, we said that if the customer wants to understand about the mutual fund industry, then we should be able to answer those questions. So that is, one system where the knowledge comes from. Then we said that if you want to understand about the products, then that is another integration where it comes from. If you want to start, if you want to understand how much your investments will build up to, then that's a calculator. So that's another integration. Then if you have to start a journey, whether it is a journey for an SIP, a journey for a lump sum investment, then those journeys have to be integrated. And everything basically has to happen in a seamless manner.
We're trying to integrate with multiple systems. We're trying to create leads in their system, read data from their CRM. Now that CRM itself is not open, how do you find a way where without data breach or without compromising on their security, how do you solve for it?
So there is one thing of building the bot, right? The second thing is there is a lot of stuff that happens pre-call and post-call in these processes. And actually automating all of that, and that works like clockwork for different use cases, is exceptionally hard.
The main tech challenge was the AMC workflow was very complicated and very long. Like for example, in AMC, we almost keep trying to reach out. I mean, this is one of the things. We almost try to reach out to the person if he or she doesn't pick up, or if the conversation is left undone. For that, we keep reaching out to them for almost over a month. So it's like a workflow that is running for over a month. It has to have memory for over a month so that it remembers every call what is happening. On the ABHI use case, there I think the main problem was just the scale at which we were operating at. We were trying to do a lot of calls, a lot of parallel calls. We were trying to hold long conversations with everybody.
I specifically took a flight to Bombay, and not for the purpose of meeting the client, but for the purpose of having 3 hours which is completely disconnected, and making sure that I can draw some, on pencil or a piece of paper, like just what the overall flow diagram or architecture diagram of something so complex with 15 integrations would actually look like. I think any implementation starts with discovery phase, right? Like it's us trying to understand how we can repurpose our platform in the context of the customers, ensuring that we have a robust discovery phase with multiple stakeholders. The person who's building the bot has to be the one doing the discovery.
I think a persona of the AI agent is a lot of things. If you look at, say, how people in an organization also work, right? They have their own personality, which is what the core system and the underlying systems or the models that the AI has, right? Which is a STT, a TTS, or an LLM. That is like my personality of the kind of person I am, right? On top of that, when I'm in an organization, it has certain values that the organization has. In terms of, say, if I'm an organization, how do I show up to my customers?
When you actually put this out in the real world, that is when actually you started looking at hundreds and thousands of customers who are interacting with the bot. And each of them is a very unique situation.
In 48 hours, the team completely redesigned the approach.
I remember like in 2 days, we completely changed the design. So we were sitting with the AMC team in their office, Siddhant and I, and we were doing live iteration, live changes to the prompt, live changes to the configuration, and making sure that we were actually making it a lot more flexible and being able to address a lot more scenarios.
We completely changed the design methodology at the end of the project, right? Because we thought, no, we want to change this to this because it's more better, right? So that change happened just before the launch.
But for me, like the entirety of the 6 weeks was one thing, but those 2 days where we completely transformed the nature of the bot and came out as a fantastic end experience was something pretty special and memorable as well.
I remember one conversation where the father is actually talking on the call. So the daughter came and sort of asked the father that, Dad, this, and he said, wait beta, I am on a call with madam. I was like, okay, he did not realize that this is a bot, right? He felt that there is a person, there is a female who is actually doing the call, right? So that was the completely aha moment.
Now, may I know if you have invested in mutual funds before?
Yes, I have.
That's great to hear, G. Congratulations on your investing journey so far. Are you interested in starting to invest with Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Funds this new year?
Sure. What options do you have?
Okay, to suggest the best options for you, may I know your investment horizon? Like, are you looking at short term of 1 to 3 years, medium term of 3 to 7 years, or long term of more than 7 years?
It does help us increase our scale by at least 4 to 5x is what I would say. And I think we have been traditionally limited by our human contact center and agents in terms of number of customers we can reach. I think we can scale that multifold.
We've actually exceeded the connect rate compared to the human contact center, very interestingly. And a lot of that is to do with retries. A very simple thing, but we sort of orchestrated that.
Just saying that one of the key stakeholders, I remember the first time we had them demo the bot didn't pronounce their name correctly. Like it was said like hello Harish. It was supposed to say hello Harish. It ended up saying hello Harish. So that became a big cause for concern. But I think for me, one of the happiest moments was when we had another call get triggered to the same person, and he said like hello Harish. This is one of the details we've really obsessed over, because as you said, like name is something that's so personal that even if I start the call and if I get that wrong, everything else after that doesn't really matter.
There were about 11 plus integrations that had to be done because the systems were ready and it was very clear what you have to do. This also happened in a record time of 6 weeks.
The implementation we have done for mutual funds is one of the fastest, I believe, for us and as well as in the industry. So we're able to go from concept to solution within a 3 to 4 weeks time period, which is very difficult. I have not seen that with other partners.
We've gone live. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, yeah. Relieved.
Crazy same here, man. It's been like crazy, like 2 mahine, like it's been insane. And I think first
6 weeks actually.
6 weeks.
Not too much.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Like I think it's been crazy. Like for me personally, it's been a fantastic experience. Would love to hear about how your experience has been working with us.
Hi, it was great. Yeah,
doing this.
It was great. It was great actually. When I said that this is not a partnership. This has been more like a friendship, right? There's like childhood friends coming me to help and do everything, right? You guys became our sort of an extended arm.
We felt that the forward deployment engineers were actually part of our team and not really part of Blue Machine team. So they sat with our people, understood, took time to really understand the business context and build solutions that really address their needs. This, I believe, is very unique. I have not seen this with any other voice tech player in Indian market.
I remember they coming here morning. I think we exited together at midnight 12. Knowledge or the expertise or ideas which came out were phenomenal. Yeah. Those kind of sessions are actually required in this kind of projects.
There are quite a few sleepless nights, I think, and especially a bunch of people in our team, Vivek, Prashant, Chetan, on the engineering team have spent significant sleepless nights and a bunch of no weekends for them. And interestingly, Chetan was getting married when we started doing our first round of this. So yeah, between a lot of functions and things that were going on, he fixed one bug right on the day he was getting married, I remember.
I would love to call it a match made in heaven. I think this is genuinely something where both the companies and are still, I would say, in the early phases of implementing AI, right? So for us, having a customer like Aditya Birla was genuinely very, very ideal, because we got great clarity in terms of what needs to be achieved. We got great sponsorship in terms of belief in this ecosystem. And of course, we got constructive critical feedback along the way, which allowed us to improve our product and offerings.
I have to give it to the Aditya Birla team, like the level of agency, ownership, and the level of sponsorship that they have is bringing everyone, all their vendors onto the table very fast.
I would say that it was one of the most fun products or projects that we have ever done with a customer.
And now I think the momentum is such that it's become a core part of Aditya Birla Capital strategy. And we're really looking at it as a competitive lever to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace.
Just one use case, getting that live has given us enough confidence to now be talking about 10 different use cases with their team, because it's all about confidence. I think getting to that first call is just a journey of hope to confidence.
If you can look at a voice tech company which can actually build solution that can complete the entire customer onboarding process, which means the customer just speaks about his needs, requirements, and a voice AI company is able to fill the application form on his behalf as he's speaking to the voice bot. That I believe is like the true north for us.
I'm feeling good, excited. I think the momentum is great.
Voice will be the next frontier. I think generally more and more people will adopt it across industries, and more use cases will get voice first.
So I would say this partnership, if you ask me one word, should be visionary and transformative. It has to not only address Aditya Birla Capital but address the larger need of Indian BFSI sector.
Aditya Birla Capital and Blue Machines, a partnership forged in engineering, strengthened by trust and scaled by intelligence. Not a demo, not a prototype. A new standard for enterprise AI in India.